All right, what better to come back with than the nerdy analytical stuff that you guys love from this channel, the salary cap. Yep, we're doing the salary cap today. It's going to be quick. It's not going to be a long one, but I want to go over it because a lot of places are saying if the Bears sign all the rookie contracts, we won't be in compliance. If the Bears do this, they're not in compliance. We got to cut players. Actually, we're going to have to get down to 53-man roster. That won't happen until August, but fact is, we're in compliance now. We're going to be in compliance. We got no issues. I do have some players I would like to see cut. I like to see how I want the 53-man roster cut down too, but we're going to go over what exactly it means today for the Bears because the Bears have done very well. We're tighter than we've ever been before. Next year's salary cap is already bigger than this year's salary cap because of the way we structured contracts. But besides the point, salary cap's going to go up next year. So we're probably not going to see as big a free agency next year as we saw this year. But there's some perks to come with that too. If some of these players don't resign and they end up walking out the door, we could be starting to get into comp pick range, where it seems like the Niners have succeeded for years having some of these players walk, but getting third, fourth, fifth round compensation picks that they then turn into more picks. It's not the worst thing in the world. Where do the Bears stand though? Well, as I showed previously, here's the 90-man roster. Okay, so the 90-man roster is, I should say, set, but it's not set. I just mean we have 90. We filled out 90 men. We didn't do that until right before 90-man camp last year. So we went to the last minute. So it's nice to see this team being aggressive and having a lot of competition. But here's where we stand this year. You can pause that if you want to. We're not going to hang on to it because we're going to get into the salary cap. But here's individually, group by group. Here's the backfield, your quarterbacks and your running backs. You can pause it if you want to. Again, here's your offensive line. Here's your receivers and your tight ends. Here's your defensive line. Here's your linebackers, your nickelbacks. And here's your cornerbacks and your safeties. So where does this leave us with the salary cap right now? I can't forget about special teams. Kickers are people too. Kickers, and we are, if you guys didn't see, we're bringing in a couple punters for rookie minicamp. Now, sometimes that's just because you need the kickers and the punters there. So there's nothing more to read into that. But we probably, we could likely keep one for a 90-man camp, though, because you need a couple. We did it last year. We do it every year. Every team usually does it. We'll see what happens. But so what does this mean for the 90-man roster? First, let's go to Spotrac because you can derive a lot from there. But then I'm going to show my spreadsheets, my breakdown. We all love Spotrac. Sometimes it's a little slow. Sometimes it doesn't have everything updated. But as far as the salary cap concerned, they're usually pretty good. So you can see right there, they have the top 51 salary cap space. All they're doing is they're taking the top roster spots. Even if they're guys that aren't going to make the roster, you'll see they show the top 51. That's because of the NFL's rule to be able to make it so teams can have more players in 90-man camp. They only count the top 51. Okay, so don't overcomplicate it. That's all it means. You do have to count the signing bonus, though, into this, even if it falls below those players. You can see count down here, go all the way down. Here's the cutoff line to various more. Power Echols, will he make the roster? We don't know, but they got a signing bonus of 6,666. Luke Elkin, 5,000. Major Burns, 3,333. Ian Wheeler, 2,500. It's from prior, but he still counts. So even if you're not counting him on the 53-man roster, and there's some that should make, like Bill Murray, should make it. So they're only counting the top roster spots. Swayze Bozeman should make this roster, you would think. Ricky Stromberg, I think, is a really good position. Don't know if he will or not, but it's a really good position to make this roster. But they're only counting those top 51, but you have to count the bonuses there too. But what they're not counting right now is the draft pool. So if we take this draft pool into it, stupid ads, take the draft pool in, you can see the ones that would fill in slots, take other ones, how much they would count. Well, these ones would fall above the line. This would be the difference between the bottom of the line and where they are now. So we got to add 8,200,000, we'll say 8,250,000. So just come back up here to the top, take the rookie, because they're not in here, take the rookie spots from that 8,250,000. You see we're roughly 3,233,000 above the cap line. So even taking Spotrac, you can see we are above the salary cap. And then for the old spreadsheets, you guys know that I have the accounting background, and this is the nerdy thing that I like to do. I'm not going to stop on every single player we drafted. You saw on Spotrac there, what their salary is. This shows the year 2, year 3 salaries. You can see right there, Luther Burden 1991318 in 2025, 2026 2389582, 2027 2867. You can pause that if you want to. That's not updated on Spotrac yet. So if you want to pause that, you can, but really, we break out the trusty old spreadsheet again. This is the updated. This is with all the contracts, the rookies, everything. But remember, there's speculation that goes into this. And no, this is not completely where I stand. Like, I think Ian Wheeler will make this roster over Travis Homer. That's just my personal preference. But I'm not going to update this roster until we actually get through camp and get to cut down. So we're going to go based off of prior speculations. The two main things to keep in track here: 53-man count here on the right-hand side, 90-man count. And yes, we only took 2 into the 53-man roster last year, and we put Austin Reed on the practice squad. It's widely speculated that Tyson Bagent will be on the 53-man roster with Caleb and Case Keenum. Who knows what's going to happen? Nobody does yet. So we're going to roll with the basic assumptions. Things like right here, Tyler Scott may not make this roster. We don't know. So we're just going to have to roll with it. But these orange ones aren't going to count against the cap because they're below the roster line. And you see, as you get down to the bottom, if you just count what's in these boxes, down to the bottom here, we'll have 53 players. So there's the 53-man roster. There's 90 in the entire 90-man camp. And that's all these players here. So you can scroll through. I know I'm scrolling through fast. I apologize. Here's your quarterbacks: Caleb, Case, Tyson, Austin. Running back room with the additions. You get your wide receivers with the additions here as well, and their rookie contracts, their undrafted free agent contracts. After this, it would be restricted free agency after the first 3 years of that. Tight end, same thing. And, maybe some of these rookies that are invited to rookie minicamp will beat some of these guys out too. We don't know. So maybe Joe Wilson won't even make the 90-man roster. So we'll adjust it as it changes. We'll adjust it as it goes. Joe Tooney, obviously the extension's rumored. The extension's potentially being worked on. Could that make this amount lower here, heavier the next couple years? But if you look at next year compared to this year, as it stands now with less players, because you look at the safety room alone, these guys aren't on contract. So those are gone. Next year, already under contract for more than this year as the starters, as the players. So it'd be interesting to see how they balance that. But next year, estimated to be $307,500,000 for the salary cap. Some believe it could be upwards of 326 with the TV deals. We'll have to see where it ends up being. We don't get that announced until next year. But it's estimated right now across the board to be around 307.5. So here's this year's salary cap. You can see the salary cap for each team is 279,200. Our adjusted from last year's rollover is 285,328. You got your prior dead cap, your new dead cap additions from this year. Put your practice squad players in there as well, because when we cut down and then we sign the 16 practice squad guys, they count 250,000 apiece through the season, and that's what we're left with. So we are cap compliant right now on the 53, but for the top 51 salary cap for training camp, that's a whole different story. They only count those 51 to make it so teams can have some flexibility as we go into camp. You have to count the roster bonuses. You have to count everything like that. But as it stands now, either way, we're still in compliance. And you can look through here. Things like Luke Elkin. I think we gave him a $5,000 bonus. I don't think we're stuck on Scott Daly. Scott Daly's experienced. Luke Elkin was Torrey Taylor's long snapper in college, all 3 years there. So it makes sense to be able to bring him on that rookie cheap contract if he works out in camp, if there's no mishaps, if there's nothing with an issue there. And then, then you have other players like Major Burns who have been highly talked about, who could potentially make this roster. Who would they make it over? Don't know. We're not going to speculate on that at this point, but you can see I have Noah Sewell dropping below. We took 6 on the 53-man roster last year. You'd think the same, but some other positions might have some more importance this year. 6 for linebackers. You can see that right there. So yeah, will they hang on to Noah Sewell? I don't know. There's some speculation here. So, but this is your entire 53-man, 90-man count on the right-hand side. Here you can see Cole Kmet, Colson Loveland, Durham Smythe. Pretty universally accepted. That's going to be the 3 on the 53-man roster. But we have 6 total for 90-man camp. And how these work, it's only counting the top 4 there. So Kyle Monangai should make the team. I would think Ian Wheeler would make it over Travis Homer, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But here's your updated salary cap roster figures. You can pause that anywhere in here. There's the wide receivers. There's your tight ends. There's your O-line. There's your D-line. There's your linebackers. There's your secondary. There's your special teams. So 53 men. And that's how it looks when you break it all down. Today was meant to be factual, meant to be down to actual getting to the salary cap. We have a week from today until rookie minicamp. So we're gonna get into some of these groupings, these positional groupings of players that could be cut, where we can see some guys making the roster. We're gonna get that in the next week. But I want to hear you guys in the comment. Let me know who you think could be a cap casualty, who could get cut, who could be around the verge of the 53-man roster. Tyler Scott. I mean, when you listen to Ryan Poles yesterday on ESPN 1000 talk about the running back room, he didn't mention Travis Homer, but he did mention Ian Wheeler. Could Ian Wheeler make this roster over Travis Homer? Excuse me. There's going to be some players that are going to be right on that borderline. We've got a very competitive grouping this year, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this thing transpires. So with that, appreciate you guys tuning in, being a part of the channel, being a part of this. If you have any questions, hit them below. I love to answer those on the salary cap. Until next time, the Bears, bear down.
Sports making Chicago proud.